Have you ever walked into a room and instantly sensed a presence that was beyond explanation? Something in the air shifts, time feels slower, and your inner world becomes unusually silent. That, my friend, is not charisma. It's not performance. It's not even confidence. It's frequency, real, embodied frequency. And it's not something you can fake. There are certain truths that only unfold when your vibration reaches a certain threshold, when your energy aligns with something higher, subtler, more refined. The very fabric of reality begins to reveal layers that were once hidden from ordinary perception. This is not about pretending to be spiritual or wearing a mask of positivity. It's about an uncheckable internal shift that changes how the world responds to you, because you are no longer the same being. Think of it like tuning into a secret radio station that most people don't even know exists. Your thoughts feel different, your reactions slow down. Your inner dialogue becomes softer, more spacious. And with this shift, certain experiences begin to emerge, experiences that are impossible to access from a lower vibrational state. It could be synchronicities that seem eerily precise, or relationships that feel like cosmic appointments rather than chance encounters. But here's the truth, you can't think your way into this. You can't fake it, force it, or skip the inner work. This frequency is not a costume, it's a transformation. And once you cross the threshold, reality starts playing by new rules. What makes this even more fascinating is how subtle it can be. It doesn't announce itself with flashing lights or dramatic events. In fact, it often begins with silence, a deeper, cleaner kind of silence inside you. Your nervous system starts to feel like it's bathed in light. Your emotions become clearer, like ripples on a calm lake. And gradually, people around you begin to notice. Without knowing what they're noticing, their eyes linger, their posture shifts. They might say things like, "I don't know why, but I feel calmer around you." This isn't magic, it's resonance, and resonance never lies. So many people chase outer results without realizing that the inner frequency is the true engine of change. You can read every book, repeat every affirmation, follow every trend. But if your vibration hasn't shifted, the world won't respond differently. Because the universe doesn't speak words, it speaks energy. And energy can't be manipulated, it can only be aligned. That's why high vibrational experiences are so rare, and why they feel sacred when they arrive. They are not rewards, they are reflections. Now, imagine what begins to happen when you live from that frequency every day. When it's not just a moment of meditation or a spiritual retreat, but your default state. Relationships, emotions, even time itself begin to rearrange around this inner shift. And yet, we haven't even touched on the 5 signs that reveal when someone has reached this level of vibration. We'll get there soon. But first, you need to understand something deeper. When you elevate your frequency, life no longer follows the same script. Everything you attract starts to mirror who you are, not who you pretend to be. There are some individuals who don't need to speak to be heard. They don't strive to impress, yet they leave a lasting impression. They walk into a space and, without a single word, something shifts. The energy around them thickens, softens, becomes alert. People turn their heads, not out of curiosity, but from a sense of pull, unspoken gravity that demands attention. This is the silent magnetism of presence. It's not about being loud, it's about being real. Truly high vibrational beings carry an energetic signature so pure, so grounded in authenticity, that it becomes a beacon. Their aura is like a tuning fork, subtly aligning everything it encounters. You see, when someone has reached a state of vibrational clarity, their energy communicates faster than language. There's no need for validation, no hunger for approval. Their very being broadcasts a message: I am aligned. And the body, the intuition, the unconscious mind of others hear that message loud and clear. That's why animals gravitate toward them. That's why children feel safe around them. That's why strangers often confess their deepest feelings to them without knowing why. It's not magic, it's coherence. And coherence is rare in a world full of internal noise. This kind of magnetism cannot be learned through charisma courses or public speaking tips. It is born from emotional clarity, deep self-awareness, and energetic consistency. When someone stops leaking energy through self-doubt, people-pleasing, or inner conflict, what remains is powerful, focused presence, and presence is felt. You've likely felt it before that moment when you meet someone and instinctively know you can trust them, or that sudden stillness when a true teacher enters the room. It's not about status or appearance, it's about frequency. High vibrational presence often goes unnoticed by the mind, but the body always recognizes it. Have you ever relaxed more deeply just by sitting near someone? Or found yourself confessing a truth you didn't plan to speak? That's the body responding to the silent permission that true presence provides. It tells you you can be honest here, you can be whole. This resonance bypasses logic and goes straight to the soul. And in a world that's starving for authenticity, this kind of presence becomes magnetic in ways that are difficult to explain, but impossible to ignore. So let me ask you, why do some people make us feel safe, calm, or even inspired, without saying anything at all? What is it that radiates from them like warmth from the sun, even in silence? The answer lies deeper than mere personality. It has to do with the internal harmony. They've cultivated a sacred balance we're about to explore. Because what fuels this presence is not just light, it's balance. And sometimes, that balance stirs more than just peace. It can create friction. Not because something is wrong, but because something very real is being reflected. Let's step into that mystery next. Deep within the soul of every high vibrational being exists a sacred equilibrium, a mysterious harmony between seemingly opposite forces. It is not something they learn from books or acquire through effort. It is something they awaken to, something they remember. This balance is the quiet integration of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the sacred yin and yang that lives in all of us. It's the force of decisive action, blended with the grace of surrendered trust. It is will and receptivity dancing together within the same heart. Those who walk with this inner harmony are not pulled by chaos or identity confusion. They are centered, like the eye of a storm. The divine masculine within them provides direction, stability, and clarity. It knows when to move forward, when to speak, when to set boundaries. It is protective, not controlling, assertive, not aggressive. At the same time, the divine feminine flows through them like water, receptive, intuitive, nurturing, and wise. It listens to subtle signals and honors the mystery of timing. When these two forces are in balance, something profound emerges: peaceful power. A kind of power that doesn't need to dominate, only to be. And this presence creates a sanctuary in the energetic field of the person who carries it. You may have met someone like this. Their words feel both strong and gentle. Their gaze is penetrating, yet kind. They seem to know when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. They don't seem to fight themselves internally, and because of that, they don't provoke conflict externally either. Their very energy seems to neutralize tension. This is the power of sacred inner union. It is rare, but unmistakable. And when you witness it, something inside you stirs, not envy, but recognition, a memory of what you, too, are meant to become. This balance does not mean perfection. It does not imply the absence of emotion or difficulty. In fact, those who reach this state have often walked through fire to get there. They have faced the shadows of unworthiness, anger, fear, and grief. They have held space for both their light and their darkness until neither had control. And in doing so, they created a third energy, something whole. This wholeness emanates from them in quiet, steady waves. It is not loud, but it is undeniably powerful. And in a fractured world, that kind of integration becomes magnetic. But here's where it gets interesting. While this harmony often brings peace and stability, it can also act as a catalyst. Not everyone welcomes this energy. For those who live in inner dissonance, the presence of someone truly balanced can be confronting. It stirs up the unconscious, pokes at hidden insecurities, and reveals what has been long ignored. The sacred balance, while beautiful, is not always comfortable to others. And this leads us into a truth few speak about sometimes. The more aligned you become, the more resistance you face. But why? Let's dive deeper into that in the next part of our journey. There comes a point on the spiritual path where your presence stops blending in. Not because you've changed how you look or speak, but because your frequency now reveals more than it conceals. And when that happens, something unexpected begins. Your light becomes a mirror. Not everyone will celebrate this. In fact, some will feel deeply unsettled by it. Why? Because your energy, now clean and coherent, reflects back to them everything they've been hiding from themselves. Your authenticity becomes a trigger. Your peace becomes a confrontation. And without saying a word, you begin awakening what others have buried. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of high vibrational living. People often think spiritual growth will bring only harmony and connection. But in truth, the more aligned you become, the more your energy exposes. Not intentionally, not with judgment, but inevitably. Because when your energy field stops broadcasting fear or distortion, it becomes a clear surface. And in that surface, people unconsciously see their own chaos, their unresolved grief, their masks. Some will be drawn to you because of it, feeling inexplicably safe. Others will recoil, reject, or even attack because they aren't ready to see what you reflect. Think of it like emotional sonar. When someone who is fully embodied walks into a room, they send out a signal. That signal doesn't just soothe, it stirs. And those who are out of alignment can feel it before their mind has time to rationalize. They might feel judged, even if you've done nothing but breathe. They might become defensive, even if you've only shown kindness. This is not about you. It's about what your energy confronts within them. And if you've ever been misunderstood for simply being calm, joyful, or deeply yourself, you've likely felt this firsthand. This is why some high vibrational individuals feel lonely at times. Not because they lack love, but because their presence filters their environment. People either rise to meet them or fall away. And this isn't punishment, it's resonance. When your vibration shifts, the world adjusts. Certain conversations no longer interest you. Certain relationships lose their glue. And while this can be painful, it is also necessary, because your energy is no longer compatible with anything that asks you to dim your light. But what if this mirror doesn't just reflect the human world? What if, at a deeper level, your light is recognized by something more primal, more instinctual, more universal? After all, humans wear masks, but animals don't, children don't, nature doesn't pretend. So what happens when your vibration resonates with beings that exist beyond the veil of performance? What awakens when your presence no longer speaks to minds, but to hearts, to instincts, to the unseen? That, my friend, is where we're going next. When your vibration reaches a certain threshold, something profound begins to happen, something that bypasses language entirely. You find yourself in silent dialogue with the world. Animals seem to watch you differently, not with fear or curiosity, but with recognition. The wind feels alive, synchronized with your breath. Strangers soften around you, opening their hearts without needing to explain why. This is vibrational resonance at its most mystical form, an unspoken bond with nature and with beings who operate beyond the mind. It's not something you learn. It's something you remember, deep in the bones of your spirit. Animals, especially, become mirrors of your frequency. Dogs rest at your feet. Cats curl beside you in silence. Birds land near without fear. These creatures, untouched by human ego, respond only to energy. And when your field is clean, calm, and coherent, they sense it as safety. To them, you are not just another person, you are sanctuary. Your energy becomes a resting place, a signal that says, here, the world is still. Here, the truth is safe. This isn't limited to pets. It extends to wild beings, too. You may notice how deer pause instead of running, how butterflies linger near your hands, how bees hover peacefully beside you. It's not coincidence, it's communion. And it's not only animals, humans, too, sense your field on levels they can't articulate. They might tell you things they've never told anyone. They might cry without knowing why. They might feel healed simply by your presence. When your vibration is aligned, you act as a kind of tuning fork, pulling others into resonance without effort. You become a subtle invitation to truth, and the reason they respond is because, even if they can't explain it, their soul recognizes something ancient in you, something whole, something sacred. It's not about being perfect. It's about being energetically available. Nature itself begins to respond. The forest feels less like scenery and more like kin. The sky seems to pulse with awareness. Water becomes a medium of reflection, both literal and spiritual. Your inner world no longer feels separate from the external world. You begin to experience reality not as observer and object, but as a shared field of vibration. There is no longer a need for dominance, for control, or for explanation. Instead, there is listening, there is sensing, there is communion. And in this state, you understand something ancient. We were never separate to begin with. We just forgot how to hear. You don't chase this transformation, you become it. The signs aren't proof that you've arrived, they're reminders of who you were always meant to be. And that brings us to a gentle but powerful truth: this frequency isn't earned through struggle, it's revealed through release. When the layers of noise fall away, the light beneath is not something new, it is something ancient, returning. Have you experienced any of these signs in your own life? Which one resonated the most with you? We would love to hear from you in the comments. And if you felt seen or inspired by this message, subscribe and turn on notifications, because your journey's just beginning.